So here's part two about the mold issue that so many people are facing, right? We talk about how everyone literally I know these days has some type of mold issue or mold exposure. And so in part one, I talked about the metaphorical aha and why that this mold exposure is coming up, right? It's corresponding to the lack of emotional movement and the dependency on efficiency. Now I'm going to talk about resilience. Why aren't humans adapting, right? Why isn't our immune system accommodating, right, this new biological input that has increased, it has, into our system, right? Because our system is made to adapt. It's made to maintain what's called homeostasis. And one thing that's coming to me, and I can really scientifically prove this, is that our resilience, human resilience, is being suppressed, right? And we can see this biologically. We are being chemically poisoned by so many industries. I don't know if you know this, but since the 70s, 82,000 new chemicals have been introduced in America, has been introduced into our food, our products, all the things, farming, and less than 400 out of 82,000 have any testing on human safety. Just wrap that around your brain. And that means that 81,600 chemicals have no safety testing that we're basically being exposed to. There's that, right? And recently there's now studies showing, of course, with cloud seeding, they're spraying chemicals in the atmosphere that's coming down and affecting us. And we know many of the pesticides that are being used are estrogen based, thus disrupting our hormones. We know, natural flavors. If you look at any of your packaged foods that says natural flavors, we know they're endocrine disruptors for sure, and they do so many other things, right? And so essentially we are bombarded by chemicals, right? I'll give you another stat. 13 years ago, EWG, Environmental Working Group, a nonprofit organization, randomly tested babies and adults, and they found that newborn babies had 100 industrial chemicals and adults had 200 industrial chemicals in their blood. And they repeated the study 10 years later, and basically those numbers doubled. A newborn baby has 200 industrial chemicals, an adult has 370, roughly doubling. And so our resilience, right, and so many of the psychology, right, like we're so quick to label that's a narcissist, I'm being gaslighted, I have trauma. There's so much programming to decrease not only our biological resilience, but our psychological resilience, and of course our physical resilience. Literally, men and testosterone levels are decreasing, and our ability to reproduce is literally at risk. And getting to that is a whole nother video. And so we are literally being repressed and suppressed so that our resilience is decreasing. And so this is a huge thing to pay attention to. It's not just about mold exposure being sick. There's a greater game, right? All my videos are about awareness. Be aware of a greater game that our human resilience is being decreased and suppressed. And so once you realize this, you want to start to take actions to increase your resilience.